Hey, okay, so we're back to working on that bed. This is actually the next day after I dug all that up. So I just picked up boards. I have 17 of these 2x4x8s. Yeah, that should leave me with a little extra, but it's just gonna kind of depend. Once I start making the cuts, it's gonna leave some odd pieces, and I'll talk about that more. Well, I can tell you now, this is not gonna go in the same video. So my plan is that back end is, the measurement on that drawing that I showed you had 16 foot 7 inches. So these are 8 foot pieces. So even if I put this up against the boards that are going down the side, that's still gonna leave 3 inches that I got, a 3-inch gap somewhere along the back. So what I'm thinking is, instead of trying to make that, just 2 pieces and then, a little piece to make up the difference, I think I'm gonna just focus on getting those sides and that front part done, and then those little ends that I have left over, like some of the, not the really small ends, but some of them will be like 2 feet, 2.5 feet, something like that. Stuff like that, I'll use that to piece together that back end. Now, aesthetically, that's not ideal, but I am making that back bed 3 feet deep, and that's already a little bit much of a stretch for me. I mean, my arms, I've talked about this, my arms aren't that long. So having those 3 feet deep is already a bit much. So I don't mind losing a little bit of space where I'm gonna have to connect those. So I'll have like another little piece of whatever's left over to connect each of those pieces together. I don't mind losing that, a couple inches here and there. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, just to kind of use as much of this as possible without having too much left over. But yeah, so this wood that I got, this is raw, a rough cut. So I'm actually not gonna just put this straight out, which was the original plan, but this is like extremely rough. So I went ahead and got sandpaper, and yeah, I got sandpaper, I got some screws as well. I just went ahead and got that. So actually I'm going to sand all of these down before I start cutting them. That's just gonna make it easier. There's people walking around. I'm like pulled up in the little loading area because I just put all these in. I'm just sitting here talking. But anyway, so yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so since these are so rough, I'm gonna leave them whole and go ahead and sand them down first. That's gonna set me back just a little bit, because I was going to go ahead and start on this today. It's about 10:36. I have somewhere to be. I gotta leave home about 12:30 or so. So I'm not trying to get super dirty, sanding these boards down, and then I got somewhere to be. But if I was just doing some cuts, that wouldn't be as bad. So I was really hoping to start, but I'm not gonna be able to do that today. So I might start on it tomorrow night. I might wait till Monday because I'm off for the 1st. So I might work on it then. I'll probably work on it both days. But yeah, I'm gonna have to sand this down first before I can start, putting it all together. So I'm gonna unload this in the garage. I'm probably gonna unload it in the garage, because originally I was gonna unload it out there at the bed, because I plan to just put them out and go ahead and start cutting. But now that I'm not gonna do that, I'll unload them in the garage. I probably won't. Actually, I might still unload them in the back and just throw a tarp over it, because I'm still gonna have to take them out to sand them. I'm not gonna sand it in the garage. Like, I do a lot of sanding in the garage and then I'll just clean up, but this is gonna be a lot, and I really don't want to have to clean up that big of a mess, so I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So I'm probably gonna just go ahead and unload it in the, sorry, somebody just pulled up and blocked me in. yeah, just go ahead and unload it in the back and cover it up. I think that's what I'll try to do. But all right, I guess the next video you see will be whenever I actually get started on this. Okay guys, today is the 5th. I'm still a few days behind because I just haven't had time to start sanding boards yet. So I'm talking kind of low. Is there people around? And it's supposed to rain this weekend, so we're gonna see about it. I have, however, made some notes on here. So I bought 17 boards the other day. In that last video you saw. I'm gonna have to get one more board because I ran the numbers and just how I'm gonna use like the scrap pieces. Okay, for instance, I'm gonna have 2 boards here, but I'm only gonna use 6 feet off of one of those boards, so it's just gonna leave me 2 feet. And then I'm gonna use 3 feet, 3 feet off of the second board. That's gonna leave me 5 feet. That leaves a 3-foot piece that I need, but I got one down here, so I have 3 feet left off of this board because I'm only gonna need 5 feet. So I'm gonna use that for the 4th 3-foot piece. So it's gonna leave me a full 5 feet off that second board. Anyway, I have all of that figured out. Came down to it and I had this much left over. Now, because I'm gonna piece some of this together back here. Sorry, I'm gonna have to move around, y'all. So back here, I wasn't gonna try to use full boards on these big ends, these longer ends back here. And I figured I'd go ahead and get all of these cuts and then piece this together. I think I talked about that in the last clip, I think. So that was the plan, but the way it worked out, let's go back here. I actually had 2 boards left over once I got down here, so I'm going to use 2 full boards for that back. And then, like I was saying, I have 109 left after that, and then I needed 139 for this 11/7. So it's 30 inches short. But that 109 used all of my scrap pieces, but I'm gonna need some of that scrap to connect these pieces across the back. So I really don't need to use all 109 of that anyway, because I'm gonna need some of it for other stuff. So I'm gonna get one more board. I'm planning to do that today. And they only had 8-foot boards because I was like, well, if they got like a 6-foot or something like that, I can do that instead of the 8. But looking online, all I see is the 8-foot for this type of board, so that's what we're gonna do. And have some other notes on that. I'm gonna cut that in half, so I have 4 feet, and then I'll do the 3/7 in the middle off of the 4-foot 2-piece that I have left off of this one. That's gonna leave me 7 inches on that. So this is everything that's left over after all of my main pieces are accounted for. I have 2 1-foot, hold on, pause. This isn't, well, leftover 4 connections. So some of this will be used to piece these, to piece this and this together. Okay. So 2 1-foot 4-inch boards, a 1-foot 6, 2-foot 1-inch, 8-inch, 7-inch. So it's not a whole lot left over. And again, some of these pieces will be used to connect. I'm gonna have 3 pieces for pretty much both of these. There's gonna be 3 pieces, and I'll have to connect them somehow. So that'll use some of this. So it's not a whole lot of scrap left over. Some of it is, it's gonna be smaller scraps. I'll probably use these smaller pieces first. I'm not gonna be able to do anything with that 1-inch piece, but I was just noting everything, so I wrote it down. But yeah, I'll use these 2 first, and like I said, just kind of work through the smaller ones first to make connections. Yeah, that's where we are on that. One other note. I can't remember what I told y'all in that clip because that was almost a week ago now. This is Friday. So yeah, I think it was Saturday. Was it Saturday when I did that? Yes, it was Saturday when I went and bought the other boards. So it's Friday, the next Friday now. Today is the 5th. I don't remember if I said that at the beginning. Okay, so what I decided on this end, on the sides, where I had it marked originally, breaking it into 4, and I said I didn't know if I would actually do that. Well, I decided to make it 5 sections instead of 4. And that was just because of the way it would work out with keeping it neat, like some round numbers on the cuts. So I'll do a 3 foot down here, a 3 foot down here, 4 feet, 4 feet, 4 feet. Now it's 2 inches. There's an extra 2 inches. So back here, I'll do the backboard all the way across, and then have the sideboard come up to it. That's what that means. But on these over here, I'll have the sideboard go up and have the middle board come in between. So I kind of tried to note that. So I got like a little space in between that, so you see which piece actually goes to the end. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. And maybe the next time you see, well, you're not seeing me now, but the next clip you see should be whenever I get started sanding. Kind of on hold with that. Like I said, it's just the timing. I don't want to do it inside my garage because I actually park in my garage and I have other stuff in there, and it's just going to be quite the mess to clean up if I sand in the garage. So, and that's a lot of boards. I got 18 8-foot boards I'm going to have to sand, so it's going to be a lot of sawdust. So yeah, I was really hoping to do that outside, but it's not looking like I'm going to be able to do that unless I wait another couple weeks. Maybe not a couple weeks, but at least another week. So we'll see about it. We'll see about it. I really don't want to have to deal with cleaning that, so I'll likely wait. I just don't want to let it get too far. I don't want to wait too long. So anyway, but yeah, next thing you should see, next thing you see should be sanding. Hello everyone. Okay, so I'm just gonna tell you real quick what's going on. So you saw me doing that sanding. So let's see. I guess I could have raised this up, but I'm not gonna do it now. I'm covered in sawdust. So you saw me doing that. The last time I talked about like the timing of all this, I hope that echo isn't bad because I'm in here with the door closed. The last time I talked about that, I think the weather was supposed to be bad like that weekend or the following weekend or something like that. Well, I've had some pretty nice weather days as far as the weekends, but I'm expecting the weather to not be nice. I didn't really plan to, to work on this on those days, and then I ended up with other things to do. So here I am. It's like 30-some degrees. Did I say that already? It's not bad. Like I'm bundled up, as you can see. The issue is my hands. So I got 3 boards done. I've taken like 3 out at a time. I got that first 3 done, and I think I'm probably gonna do maybe like 1 and stop for a while and then do another and just to get however many done I can today. Because yeah, the issue is my hands. Like everything else is fine, but I can't keep my fingers warm. So I'm gonna have to, take some pretty frequent breaks. And I mean, that's fine because the other option would be to just not do this right now and wait to do it. I've already talked about why I didn't want to do it in here in the garage. So I mean, if I only get half as many done as what I could have gotten done if I wasn't constantly stopping to, keep my hands from getting my fingers from getting too cold. I mean, that's still progress. So, so yeah, I've gotten 3 done. I got 3 more outside. I'm just stepping right out the side door. I'm keeping the main door closed, the big door closed. I'm just stepping out the side door, which works out because I have them stacked right here on this side where the door is. So I can like stand there with the door open and basically like pull it out. And I don't necessarily have to completely come in and get it and then walk it back out. So I'm looking around because I saw a little mouse and I was literally standing here. I kind of moved my foot and it went, but then it just came right back out. So I don't know. It hasn't come back out another time, or third time, I should say. But yeah, anyway, so that's where we are. If I don't get them finished today, then the next clip you see will probably be me doing some more sanding, but I'm not going to show you any more of it right now. It's just going to be the same thing over and over. All right. Hey, I'm back already. So I've decided this is a bit much. So I'm not gonna keep doing this. I have one more board from that second group of 3, and I'm gonna do that one, and that's just gonna be it. I was gonna show you. I was on the second board. Right? Yeah. Okay. I was on the second board, and the snow started. There's some like really big snowflakes, but by the time I finished that board and I was gonna come get my phone and show y'all, it stopped. So yeah, I may or may not put the date at the beginning of this. In case I don't, this is right now. We're like getting ready for that winter storm that's coming through. So yeah, you'll either know what I'm talking about or you won't, but that's on its way through. So, I mean, I could very well be in the next couple of days. The only thing is, even if I'm home, and I'll have plenty of time to do this, it's still going to be cold, which means I'll be looking at the same situation I'm looking at now, which is not being able to keep my hands warm. I need some really good insulated gloves, y'all. So, if you have suggestions, I mean, obviously I could Google or search Amazon or something, but if you have any recommendations, I am open to them. I looked at some gloves. Let's see, one of these last times I was in Lowe's getting this stuff, I looked at some gloves, but I was really just looking for just general work gloves, not necessarily insulated. But even then, what I was finding, I don't know if I was in Lowe's or Home Depot when I was looking at that. They just didn't really have stuff in my size, or at least not where the gloves were that I saw. And it's just like, I need gloves that fit my hands. So yeah, like I don't need them, which I know depending on what kind of insulated gloves I get, they could be a little bulky, but I don't need them bulky just because they're too big. Cause that's just not gonna work. That's not gonna be very helpful or useful to me. So yeah, so anyway, I was gonna go ahead and stop because the snow started, but the snow has stopped. But I'm still gonna stop. Yeah, because I'm not really feeling this, trying the cold hand thing is just, it's not it, especially for something that really isn't urgent. If it was something like, oh, I got to get this done right now, then, I just keep doing what I'm doing, just stop and go back and, you know, just going back and forth. But this isn't that kind of situation, so there's no reason for me to do that. So yeah, I'm just gonna finish this 6th board, and we're gonna call it quits on this today, which that'll leave me with 12 more to do. So I had 17 initially, and then I had to go and get one more. So yeah, so that'll leave me with 12, which I haven't stacked over here in threes, and I have 4 stacks. So yeah, all right.